Cleveland and beyond with Andy Billman and Jared Watson. Brought to you by Evergreen Podcast.
Hello and welcome. He's Andy Billman. I'm Jared Watson, and this podcast is brought to you by Waiting for Next Year. Check them out. Original Cleveland sports reporting at waitingfornextyear.com. We are also proud to be a part of Evergreen Podcasts. We're here later than we said we were going to be. So again, apologies. We're not hitting our Mondays like we want to, but we are here on this Monday for you right now doing this show. We are going to talk about the Cleveland Browns camp and some of the concerns. Yes, we actually have a few concerns that we would like to discuss regarding the team. Furthermore, with the Browns, contracts. Nick Chubb got his. Where is Baker Mayfield's? And why is someone else's possibly taking a little bit more precedence right now? We're going to get into that. We'll talk about the Indians, how they have fallen below 500. We can pretty much say this season is a wash outside of the fact that we are going to watch this team grow because this young core does have a lot that makes me excited about next season. Hopefully Terry Francona is healing up because we know he is not with the team anymore for the remainder of this season. But we've seen some new faces. We've seen a bat that we were hoping that would start hitting actually hit a little bit. So we'll get into some of that with that. And then the Cavs. We'll end on some talk about Mobley, that new draft pick, and Andy's got some other stuff that I haven't paid much attention to the Cavs, only a little bit, so we'll just jump into it. But first, your future Super Bowl winning Cleveland Browns.
Oh, yeah. Javius. Good to see you, Javius.
What's up,
Hello.
Javius?
Logan. I'm watching the Tribe up 5-1. My favorite J-Ram.
Yeah.
Our favorite
I don't
J-Ram.
have a TV in front of me, though.
By the way, since 2017, Jose Ramirez is leading Major League Baseball in extra base hits. Is one of the great stats provided by Paul Hoynes over the weekend.
Yep.
Since 2017, no one else in baseball has more extra base hits than Jose Ramirez.
Yeah.
It's a great stat. So everybody out there doubts Jose. There you go. The Browns have been going through this positivity motion. My God, have we taken the pills here on this show? Let's go Brownies. Exactly, Logan. It is time to go. Let's go Brownies. I think now some doses of not dampering the season. So glad Matt Bruning. God, I mean, they must have watched the show clearly. That was my biggest concern a couple weeks ago. They jumped all over it. I'm glad Nick Chubb is signed. He is by far one of the more popular players. That didn't need to be discussed even before the contract, but you can tell from reports and from people on the ground, he gets a lot of cheers, and he should. Great Brown, wonderful Brown, made a lot of sense. One of the rare times in sports where the guy wanted to be here, he gave a hometown discount, and he didn't need to, and he really made it affordable. Just a great job. Matt Bruning on Facebook, no doubt Barry and Stefanski have you guys on the big screen in the office. I mean, Matt, I didn't want to say anything, but I'm sure that he has it dialed up right now. I mean, I know I would if I were in Brea, Ohio. I mean, obviously now I got to give some more tips though, Matt. Now, we're going to get to on the field in a second, but I must admit, Jared brought up something to me before the show, and there's been a lot of contract discussions of who's next. Jeremy Flowers reporting it might be Denzel Ward. There's also been some people out there reporting little other things here and there, but Jeremy's reporting Denzel Ward. Everybody across the board saying nothing's heating up between Mayfield and the Browns. I thought, frankly, I don't give a damn comment from Mayfield was the first time he showed some of his wear on this. Here's my word of caution about the Mayfield. I think the Mayfield contract is going to happen. I do. I think everything will be fine. I think he's our quarterback. I believe in Baker Mayfield. I do. I saw enough last year. If I were the Browns, I would be cautious. Don't tip the apple cart. Don't get too cute here. This is a big year, and everything is set up to do big things. I thought that was the first time he showed a little wear and tear on Sunday. And it is and you can play analytics and money, and I get that. I get that. I love numbers. Totally get it. Don't rattle this cage. I trust in Stefanski and Barry. I'm sure they'll get this right. I was surprised by that comment.
That was a little take on that comment.
I thought it was a little frustration from Mr. Mayfield, and I would keep him happy.
I know. I've seen it before out of him. I think he's annoyed by the media bugging him about it all the time. That might be why he said that.
Well, he
That is
played
where I'm leaning, at least. Like, all right, that's enough. Like I'm not involved with this. I'm focused on the season. That stuff will get taken care of. I
Oh, no,
don't
by the way, it
know
will.
that I feel like it's. I think the annoyance is just by and I'm not even stepping on media for asking. They have to. We all
You
have to ask.
you have to ask that
the
question.
question. I just think he's annoyed by it being asked.
I
think
think
he doesn't.
I think everything is still fine. I think Barry will figure this out because he's very good at this. I have every confidence in the world.
Yeah.
I just think now you are getting to the point of this is such a great grooving season from what I can tell. And there's some questions which I'm going to get into. I finally have some concerns. I'm hearing and seeing some things now that I'm like, okay, we got to actually talk about X and what does this mean going forward for the season. That's not all positive, but
Right.
that's finally questionable. But this to me is one outlier. I'm actually not aligned all the way to Grossies. I get what you're saying and you're right. I just don't want this to get too cute. I would like this to be buttoned up before the season's done.
We hate cute. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
We don't like being cute.
Yeah, and I don't think it will. Like I said, I guess what I'm predicting is I think everything will be okay.
Right.
I just thought for the first time some grayness has entered the room. That's all I'll say.
I think that just the fact that they're even possibly discussing this Denzel Ward contract right now to me seems kind of weird because this is a guy I don't know that you give him a contract right now.
Wonderful Pro Bowl player when he's healthy, but is he going to be healthy?
And that's the issue. And we've got new faces in that secondary that, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're seeing something during camp that I just don't know. Now, if it's team friendly, if it's as team friendly, it's got to be even more team friendly than the Nick Chubb signing, I believe, at least in this case right now. But we'll see if that happens. Javius has a comment on Facebook. This is the time to make the signing. They need to get in front of the Avalanche because the price goes up with each signing. And Javius, he's got to be talking about Baker. And this is what I said too. I said, this is another reason why I don't know that Baker's aggravated. Baker, his camp, his side might not want the contract to go through right now. Baker might be betting on Baker here.
Oh, he will.
But my point is, Baker will make a hell of a lot more money if he's the quarterback of the AFC champion Cleveland Browns than he will get in a contract right now. I mean, that could be argued, right?
All fair. I think everything will be fine.
Yeah.
I just am surprised because for the first time I saw on Sunday, and you might be right. And by the way, I think some of it might be just talking too much, but it's a topic now. Whether we like it or not, it's a topic. You said you have to ask Jose Ramirez 2-run home run here on Monday. So people listening to the podcast, the Indians are definitely going to win this game.
All of it, right?
And by the way, congratulations. My favorite rivalry, the Ohio Cup, will be sipped out of our mouths. So we'll tie the series, and the Ohio Cup will be staying in Cleveland. A big championship trophy for this man. All that to be said, going back to Baker, I just think you don't want this to linger too much more. Right. I think everything's fine. I think he'll be in Cleveland. I think it's a great fit. I think everything will be okay. I just don't want this to leak over or spill over. I'll leave it there. Yeah. We'll see what happens. I've just been surprised by how much speed and momentum has picked up into momentum into, well, how's this going to work out? And when I heard his comment, and Jared might be right, you can read into it as like, I'm tired of talking about it. But that's part of the reason why I think they should button it up. As a reporter, I would ask the same thing. Well, what do you think? What are you hearing? What's going on? I mean, you're curious, especially what's going on with Josh Allen. And frankly, I think Baker Mayfield's a better quarterback. Josh Allen.
Oh, listen, we have got to talk about this. Now, what is it? What was it like 150 guaranteed and 258 overall? Right? That was the contract?
Yeah.
Right?
And by the way, if I'm the Bills, I get it. It's weird because we all have different perspectives.
I
get it. But for my taste, for my guy's Baker, and Baker belongs here, and Baker will be here.
I will have that argument all day long. That, I mean, you saw it at the end. I mean, at the end of the playoff game, the Bills he lacked a lot of composure at the end of all that. So I don't know. It seems big. It seems bigger than I expected. with that move. Now that bodes well, though. That bodes well for the Baker Mayfields and the Lamar Jacksons of the world, depending on
Well, that's not our problem either. But and again,
Nope.
maybe that's not a problem. Maybe they win a Super Bowl with Lamar. I don't know. Very possible. The guy can play well.
No.
But I think this is I think it will happen. I won't linger on too much more. I just think it's something to now. I didn't feel like we had to watch it until after last night.
Right.
When I read the comment, I'm like, well, now we got to kind of watch to see how this plays out. I'll leave it there. I don't have much more to add. I don't think there is much more to add. It continues on. Jeremy Fowler thinks the Denzel Ward contract's being discussed. Maybe that gets hammered out. Jared and I are aligned on Denzel Ward. I like Denzel Ward. I think he can play. I think he gets shit on way too much.
Yeah.
I would be more in the camp of I would rather see him play this year and then reevaluate. I would not want to do the reverse.
Well, that's why I think the only reason that this is picking up steam is if it's a contract that is as team friendly as it can possibly be, because I just do not think that they are going to roll out the red carpet and just hand out the dollar bills to Denzel Ward in this contract. I just don't. I know Denzel Ward is a quality guy that you don't want to lose, but I also know that you're not going to lose the season on Denzel Ward. So
I just think Denzel Ward, it's fair to everyone's and Denzel Ward too. I think it's fair to say, let's play the season play out and then renegotiate from there. That's all.
yeah.
I think that's fair. Jared, are you into Baker plays good one day, plays crappy the next? I'm reading everything from The Athletic to Cleveland.com. Oh, my God, guys are dropping passes. Oh, my God, one day. I'll give my quick take on this. If you watch this show or listen to this show the last 2 years, you would hear the same report. One day Baker looks great. One day Baker looks bad. This is what Baker Mayfield does and all the time in training camp. My word of advice for Cliff Notes for people who are new to Browns camp and are big Browns fans, don't read too much into play-by-play, day-by-day of Baker Mayfield's play.
Mm-hmm.
He did this last year. He did this rookie year. He's done this throughout his career. I just would not get too much into Baker plays well one day, doesn't play well. That's my belief. I really don't read too much into it. I'm reading into other things, which we'll get into now. I'm not getting into the day-to-day of Baker Mayfield's play. I don't know if you are, but that's just me.
I've actually... This is the one time. This is now. I will pick on the local media a little bit. They get really involved in this. There's a lot of excitement and a lot of. I mean, it goes a little far on the like pump the brakes here a little bit. It's practice. We're talking about practice. This is where Baker's supposed to look like shit if he's going to look like shit at times.
He does this every year.
And let's not forget, straight south down in Tampa Bay. There's a certain quarterback who threw a temper tantrum the other day and punted a ball because of the shitty play that was going on in the field involving him and the rest of the team on a certain day. So let's just calm down if you need to be calmed down. Me personally, and I think most people are like us, Andy. We're into it. Maybe the people think they know what they're talking about. It sounds like he's not doing it. Nobody knows right now. I'm sure that they're fine. I'm sure they're fine. Sure,
every year in training camp, it's the same story. So wouldn't really read too much into it in one man's opinion.
Yeah, Matt Brocious. Yeah, go ahead, Andy.
Went to the Browns practice yesterday. 16 ounces were $5 all day. I saw a lot of guys drinking 16 ounces.
Wow.
Baker threw a sweet touchdown pass to Peoples-Jones. So let's lead it off to that last name.
Glad you had a good time, Matt.
Okay, Matt, drink one for us. Look, read The Athletic, Cleveland.com. Any dog pound, fan site, whatever you want to read. Throw your dart in the wall. Throw a rubber ball.
I just told everyone not to get overly emotional about either way, but now I'm going to tell you.
The land on demand.
I'm a little excited about DPJ.
But Baker Mayfield to me is different now. That's my point. Baker Mayfield's graduated. Nick Chubb's graduated. Myles Garrett's graduated. Jadeveon Clowney's graduated. Donovan Peoples-Jones is exciting to read. He is by far winning the Positivity Camp Award. Mm-hmm. If you read anything, he has had up until yesterday. I guess yesterday he had a couple drops, but he's been playing. He has looked wonderful. People have been really writing him high. Again, any of the publications, any of them, they all talk that highly about him. The other guy who gets talked very highly is a rookie Newsome out of Northwestern. If you read any of the big guys, Grossi, Mary Kay Cabot, Zach from The Athletic, all of them brag about how they like Newsome, how he plays smart, how he looks like he's ahead of Greedy Williams. Yeah. Those two guys by far stand out more than anything else, and it's a positive trend leader with there first. Donovan Peoples-Jones is pushing for things. Will it happen this year? Not sure, but I'll play to the future cards. I think this is more to that with him. Yeah. This is why next year you're hearing Will Landry and OBJ both come back, or one or the other won't, because people like Donovan Peoples-Jones is probably ready for that next step. I just want to point that out. That's the reason why these discussions are happening, because if OBJ were not to come back and Donovan Peoples-Jones is on track to do these things, that's why OBJ maybe not coming back is happening.
We are seeing out of, I believe at least, Donovan Peoples-Jones, what was wasted at that team up north. Wasted.
Oh, poor. Oh,
this kid is getting finally his chance to shine once he's gotten away from that blue and yellow team up there. So
they couldn't pass.
Could not. And so, I mean, imagine if he was in, playing for a team that it could pass, he wouldn't have been drafted where he was drafted.
Hey, I mean, there's two other guys I'll put on that level on Mr. Watson. One is this kid Felton, the other rookie. He's also been getting positivity notes around the board. Not as much as the others, but Felton's definitely being discussed and bantered. He's even being discussed as much as punt returns and kickoff returns. We'll get to the special teams in a second.
Oh, thank God.
That has a little bit of a political darkness. But now to the other guy, too, who I've been reading, but has been hamstrung by hamstring, sadly, is Anthony Schwartz. I think Schwartz plays right into what Jared's saying. I watched a lot of Auburn last year. Kid can play. They couldn't pass. That kid, I know he's hyped in Auburn. I get it. Auburn couldn't throw the ball. I think Anthony Schwartz can play. Now, Anthony Schwartz has got to be healthy. He's missing a lot of time right now. Yeah. But I think down the road, that's another guy I think can play. And I know people have been – Felton and Schwartz – I know Schwartz has not been playing as much in training camp, but they've been whispering about what they like, what they're seeing out of those two. So I think what Jared is alluding to is right. Because UCLA didn't play well last year. They stunk. But that doesn't mean the kid can't play. And if they can steal someone like Felton – Schwartz, and what we're seeing from Donovan Peoples-Jones is I saw, Jared and I watch a lot of college football. That kid, I said to myself, Donovan Peoples-Jones can play. He stands out. He looks tall. Michigan can't throw. Same thing from Schwartz from Auburn. When Schwartz got the ball, he was gone. But they couldn't give him the ball because they couldn't throw. So I think that those are two things. And I think for Felton, I mean, I know Zach out of the Athletics higher on him the most. A lot of people do think highly of that kid. And they think he's going to make the team on a logjam situation. It's not going to be easy to keep D'Ernest Johnson, Van Felton, and all these other guys and running backs. It's not going to be easy, but they think he's going to make the team. But going back to what we're leading off to, if for anybody who's been asleep, DPJ has been so hyped, and it's been well deserved. He looks good.
This is again a relief when we're talking about the fact that we are coming up on a year after this season where there will be questions at wide receiver. And if this regime, if this organization can reload with guys like DPJ that are diamonds in the rough, so to speak, I mean, this is I know we're going to talk about stuff that's concerning, but man, is it nice. Well, Andy, how nice is it to not be concerned about wide receiver and quarterback? Oh boy. I'll
give one more positive before we start going down the other direction.
Even though they only make like 2 plays a game.
Right. Could you fucking imagine if we didn't have Jadeveon and Clowney in camp? Jadeveon and Clowney looks so fucking good, and now and he looks great.
I heard that no one can handle him on that.
Oh, folks. And Malik Jackson and Billings. Billings got a great write-up this weekend. The defense, it's amazing. That is really last year was offensive line. This year, I think it's finally defensive line. I think we finally have figured out some things. Now, to the other half of these discussions, some things that you do question or make you worried. I hope Takk McKinley's doing okay. I hope he's feeling okay. I hope he's doing okay as a person. He had some trouble with the heat in the first 2 practices, and now he's taking personal time away. And it's basically being alluded to he's dealing with some stuff, whether it's personal with himself or personal with his family, he's taking some personal time off. Number 1 objective is I hope Takk is feeling better. Now to the reality of the field. That hurts. Boy, can you imagine if we had Takk McKinley and no Jadeveon and Clowney? This would be a big story. Big story. McKinley is not played. And they're and again, in quotes from Stefanski, we hope to have him back before the season starts. That's concerning. Anthony Walker, who is listed as the team captain on defense, basically play caller, gets hurt, may not be back till the regular season. He should be fine, but you'd like to see that kid play more. And Walker seems to be that leader on the leader on defense.
Right.
I think Greedy Williams being on the field is a wonderful story. I'm happy again. Number one, glad Greedy's back on the field. If I'm being truthful, from what I'm reading, it doesn't sound like Greedy's playing well, and I don't think he played well 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and I am Jared. I'll ask you. I'm graduated to Newsome, Hill, Ward. I don't think Greedy's going to be in that mix. I just don't.
This is not just a case of being attracted to the new and shiny thing. This is legitimately how things seem to be playing out in camp.
Yeah.
And we know that, man, all we talked about was when's Greedy going to be okay? When's he going to come back? When's he going to come back? Because we were in desperate need of some depth at that position. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, I mean, I hope he's there, but
I'm glad he's on the field. Again, I don't want to read too much into it to look at the Javis's comments. I'm happy he's on the field. Jared, I think the press have been very nice because he's been going through stuff. And I think it's very cool the press to do. If you really read in between the lines, it doesn't sound like Greedy's playing very well.
Yeah.
I'm being honest.
Hey, we're wrong. Maybe it changes. Maybe. I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Maybe.
Again.
He's out in the field, and that is a big step, and I'm happy for Greedy. I just got to be upfront. When you read from any publication, it doesn't sound good when it comes to on-the-field play. JV heard, we are shoulders deep in talent and wide opposition. Agreed. That's why it's great going into next year when you have to make some real budget cuts about what you're going to do. Wyatt Teller, what are you going to do with J.C. Treader, certainly Jarvis Landry, and what are you going to do about OBJ? Mr. Hurd, again, been a long time coming for us to have a top-notch defense. Thank God. JVS, to your point, I am so excited about this defensive line. It reminds me what we thought the offensive line was going into next year. Last year, it had kind of continued to play well. I am that excited about this defensive line. I really am. I think this defensive line is ready to go.
We've had this discussion last season was that this would be the year that defense was the focus in the draft, in the offseason, in acquiring new players. Jadeveon Clowney. Oh my God. Like, nobody, how many people, let's just say this real quick. I got to talk about Clowney right now. How many folks out there were sleeping on the fact that this dude was signing with the Browns and talking about how he's been a disappointment or blah, 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 and hasn't been. It's true. All I'm saying is watch out this year. That's all I'm saying.
The guy seems very, very, very motivated.
By the way,
really good.
Have we even talked about, Miles at all?
That's what's so great about this season. Like if we were in a normal season, the talk would be about Greg Newsome. But because of how talented the Browns are, he's in the back pages. Now, Clowney's been in the front pages, and he definitely echoes and concerns it. But that's why Takk McKinley, it's good because this team can handle it because of depth and because of the talent of coaching around him. Takk McKinley now can actually focus on what's the most important, how he's doing as a person and what's going on with his health. Right. In a normal year, if this was just – and by the way, if they didn't have Clowney, Jared and I, it would probably be one of the lead stories after Baker's contract. What are they going to do about Takk McKinley not being here? What is Porter Gustin going to – I mean, that's a – can you imagine? It's a big discussion. Clowney being here, yes, it's talent-wise. It's now he has to play-wise because it is a big deal, especially McKinley being out for – it sounds like until the season starts. So those are the things. Here's a couple other – I have so many things, but here's a couple more. JOK continues to impress even though he came in late. That's something I keep reading about. I think that's great.
And I didn't double check on any of this. We're assuming that he was like a breakthrough infection, right? He came back pretty quickly and seemed healthy on that COVID.
They didn't allude to it. He did come back within a week.
Yeah.
All this stuff's mysterious. So, and I'm not saying mysterious in a bad way. It's just mysterious in that, like, you're not going to get any straight information.
Well, it's just nice. It's just nice that you can tell he came back differently than, say, Myles Garrett came back.
Denzel Ward.
Yeah, or Denzel. Exactly.
No, he seems ready to play, which is good. Okay, a couple more concerns that now on the flip side of the ball.
Yeah.
Not worried about running back. Not worried about wide receiver. Not worried about the quarterback, even with the contract. Tight end. Now, Lil Hooper is a good veteran tight end who slips and falls a lot, as a lot of people allude to, including us, and but makes nice plays and gets the job done. Not going to take that away.
Right.
He has not had the cleanest of camp. He's had a couple of days, including yesterday, where he's dropped a lot of passes. Bryant and Njoku. Bryant had a good day yesterday. Njoku continues to have a good camp. I will say, out of everything else, and then we'll get to that fun special teams. But I will say real quickly, Jared, I do think tight end now is something to watch on offense. I would actually say keep your eye on as the season continues. I'm kind of curious to see if Hooper lasts throughout the whole year.
Well,
as starting tight end.
That's kind of a startling way to look at it.
Don't you think?
But and you can also go to the other side of it. Wouldn't be as concerning if we had the confidence in Njoku that there would be consistency. Is it possible that Njoku can still become that tight end that we all hope that he would? Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. But
I gotta be fair. The guy played well last year.
What's that?
The guy played well. I didn't mean to cut you off. The guy played really well last year in second half. So I want to be fair.
But that's the thing is there was a lot of pickup. There was improvement, and I think it was a steady climb. I think that, I would love nothing more than Njoku to show out, to ball out. That's the guy that I've had the most. I had a lot of confidence in him when he came in to begin with this team. Felt kind of let down a little bit. But I'm now in a place where, he went through those phases of people reading into his social media, wondering if he even wanted to be here, this and that, yada, yada. He's a different guy. He is a different guy.
Well, there's no question. I guess my point is Peoples-Jones is pushing Hollywood Higgins and Landry and OBJ, but those guys are all playing well, and they're all pushing each other to become better.
Right.
If I'm reading the tea leaves, it sounds like Njoku and Bryant might be pushing Hooper, but also Hooper's not playing great. Is not looking clean. And I think that's something to keep your eye on. I didn't think that to begin training camp. Jared, I'm starting to wonder.
Yeah.
Not to begin the season. I think as the season continues. If I had to mark one position, I think that's the one I'm going to circle. I think that's the one. I think that we haven't talked about that enough. No. I do think that's something to start watching. Anyways, read into what you want to. Yesterday was not a good day for him. It's only one day. We all get that. If you really read the everyday press clippings, Hooper has not had the most star-gazing training camp. And last year he was fine.
He was fun to find in the back of the end zone over the middle every once in a while.
Again, he's fine. Hey, look. If we were talking mid to late 80s, early 90s, there were several Hoopers in the league. One of them being Mark Bavaro really comes to mind. Brent Jones is another guy that comes to mind. These are guys who could really play. They're not yak. They're not guys but boy, they can catch. And Hooper's in that world. He really is. Today's NFL, though, we're in the Antonio Gates. We're in that world of Gronk, Kelsey, and Hooper is more in the Bavaro, Brent Jones days. And that's being honest. And unfortunately for Hooper, he is struggling in a camp. If I'm being fair in what you read online, and it's just something to watch. I'll leave it there. Yeah. People can take it for whatever it's worth. Higgins had a good day yesterday. I'll transition quickly. OBJ continues to do his thing where he trains one day, doesn't play. I think he's on track. You can tell. I think everything's fine there. Right. Landry looked good yesterday. That's good to hear. Offensive line. I really wouldn't read too much into that. I think what's going on defensive line is going to make this offensive line even better this year. The one great job by Cleveland.com. I got one little stat that means nothing in training camp, but it's something you and I talked about a lot last year. The offensive line is still ranked in their top 5. There's one stat where the offensive line for the Browns is not in the top 5. It's not even in the top 10. In fact, it's in the bottom 5 of the league. What is that stat? 2 yards and rushing and in downs. When it's 3rd and 2, 4th and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, the Browns were last 5 in getting those 2 tough yards. That is something we talked about last year. It makes me nervous. When I read that, I was like, you know what? God, we talked about that on our podcast time and time again. It'll be interesting. That's how you get to the elite, because the Browns are not in the top 3. They're not 5.
Well, I think that's also. I mean, we can also I wonder if you can kind of mash that with the. There's another stat that shows how aggressive teams are through the league on 4th down and converting.
Correct.
And then the Browns are a lot more aggressive in their play calling from last season, because they weren't getting those 1-2 yards.
But they weren't. Yeah.
So they were throwing downfield and going for more yards than what were required, and converting. They were a nice mix in the upper 60, 70, 80% of aggressiveness. Regarding how they were going about their later downs.
But they also, when they did try to run, they weren't getting their yards,
which is frustrating.
I just want to point that out. I thought there was a great article done on Cleveland.com. I thought it really did a great job of breaking down the offensive line in very fair, not brown and orange glasses.
Right.
And that's the one stat. This offensive line is great. We all love this offensive line. I thought it was a wonderful article. I'd go check it out. It really did a nice job of, here's where we're really as an offensive line. Now, let's do one more. Grant Delpit is the other guy who's been brought up a lot. If you listen to talk, read these publications, Grant Delpit's name is getting passed around a lot, and for good reason. We want to see the kid play. Right. He has a new injury, a hamstring injury. He did not play off last year because of Achilles injury. Jared, I'm actually moving into the category of I'm not expecting much from Grant Delpit this year. Ronnie Harrison's also hurt right now. Now, he should be ready for the season, but he's not playing right now. I think that's fine. I think Ronnie Harrison's ready to go, so I'm not worried about that. My point being is, we were talking the show, it'd be great. You have depth. I don't know if I'm relying much on Grant Delpit now.
No, I mean, and you don't have to right now.
You don't have to right now.
Right now. I mean, so this is back half of the season issue? Maybe.
I just bring it up because he didn't play all last year, and he's only practiced like 1 day so far.
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of time missed. I just think I have now put on my realistic Randy hat on with this, where it's like, well, Grant Delpit plays a little bit in the middle to end of the year. That'd be great. Grant Delpit getting out there a lot from day one, if he has to, is not a good sign, because he's not played a lot. It stinks. The kid has real talent, but boy, he can't get out there.
Yeah. Well, can't force it. You got to let him get healthy. That's it.
Joshua 73701 on YouTube. Baker is annoyed by the media. They veep, as I will allude to with Jared Watson. He agrees with you, Joshua. I'm more in the camp. I think there's some truth to his I think there's some truth to that comment of him being a little frustrated. Again, I think for the first time, it's now in the air. I think everything will be okay. I'm just saying it's in the air. That's all. There's a whiff. It's a whiff of frustration.
Hey, some of these guys became fathers too. Let's bring that up real quick. Congratulations, Mac Wilson, who also had an interception the other day at practice.
I'm glad you brought his name up. I would have totally forgot about him. Congratulations, Mac Wilson. Yep. He has had a great camp.
Yep.
And people are raving about him. People are also raving about Jacob Phillips. More so about Mac Wilson. I bet you Mac Wilson plays great this year.
Mac Wilson is another one of those guys that you just root for because of how much he wants it, how much he loves the team, how dedicated he is. How he gravitates towards those natural leaders on the defensive side of the ball to learn and to work out Mac is a gets us guy. I want nothing but success for that kid. I think it's time. Yes,
Javius, queue up it in iTunes. I thought his explanation of what happened with him last year mentally said a lot about where he was on the field.
Well, he was injured for a lot of. Wasn't that part of the issue?
Injured, and he actually contemplated retirement because he was so frustrated about what was going on with his injuries. And I thought that explained Mac Wilson's play last year because he played a kid that was very hesitant, and he played like a kid that regressed. It's a long ways to go. It's only 2 weeks of training camp, but that guy's playing very different from what he did the year before. Joshua again on YouTube. Baker's annoyed by the media. Last week, they went after his wife on questions about his contract. I did not hear about that, Joshua, so I apologize. She answered gracefully as a husband. That would get to me a bit also, Joshua. Again, that's fair to say. I think Baker is annoyed by the media. This would be the first time, I don't know what happened with the wife, so I can't comment on that. I don't know anything what you're referencing there, so I can't. If he gives a comment back, but as I didn't hear that, Jared, did you? I don't know what happened.
I didn't hear it, and I could also say this too. I know that it might be a little annoyed, but she worked for. I don't know if she's still doing it. She had a segment with one of the local stations up there too. She understands how this works. She does. She understands. She understands how it works.
Joshua, I got to be honest.
I get it again with the annoyance. I get it.
I get it. I'll say this though: if I were in front of, I think some of these questions are sometimes like, you're just kind of picking and poking. The Josh Allen comment about the contract, I think, is very fair to ask. I do.
It is fair to ask. I mean, these questions are questions that I wonder about. How do you? I mean, I want to know. I want to know what's going on with the contract.
I think now it's fair to ask. I don't. It reminds me of LeBron. We're rumoring about when he's leaving. Now that's a very different and very broad stroke comment. But what I'm saying is, I thought that was fair to ask LeBron. How's the contract negotiations going? Once Josh Allen signed, I want to ask about Baker's contract too. Gotta be honest.
Yeah, because what's the first thing the first thing I thought when I saw Josh Allen sign was
Baker.
Oh, Baker.
Yeah.
What does this mean?
So that's my point, Joshua. I think this is actually fair. I know at times it's been a little hand-wringing. Is this too much negativity? I don't think this at all. I think this is very, very appropriate.
At the same time, I get why Baker's annoyed. Get
it. That's fair.
It could be both.
It can.
That's the beauty of coming to a nuanced conclusion, my friends.
Yes. So now to the team of also concern. That is our unspecial teams, as people have referenced. That's not my word. Wish I could take credit for something like that. McLaughlin's kicking well. Parkey's doing okay. There's no sense or rhyme or reason to who's receiving kicks. I will just state this. If everybody goes, what is the one area? This is it. I think this is all a fog. I have not been happy with special teams in 3 years of doing this podcast. In 2021, everything, even the Hooper thing, will figure itself out. Everything else, contract's fine. This is the one area of concern I really do have going into the season. Parkey, fine. All training camp, fine. We don't know who's punt returning kicks for the Browns. Oh, why? Jared, why every year is this such a
because we can't because Eric Metcalf ain't coming back.
Oh, why can't he come back? Where's Phil Dawson? Where's my Scottish Hammer? Oh, he's punting great, and I'm not reading anything like that.
What? Well, I don't know. I haven't. No news is good news out of my punter. I'm not.
Look, here's the thing. I'm saying. I'm ready for some. Man, that guy looked great returning kicks today. Wow, I was really excited to see.
Returning kicks. If we're gonna go on the return side of the ball and just stick to that right now, Andy, I don't have a fucking clue what they're gonna do.
I'm just gonna say this is a team I think is going far places. For a team that's going far places, I think the special teams is concerning.
I also it's a legit concern. With the way that Donovan Peoples-Jones is playing. Do you want him returning kicks?
If he improves from last year,
I didn't think he was that great.
And Dearness Johnson doing diving center field catches to catch the ball. Look, this team's got a lot of going for it. I think special teams has been very much kicked aside. I would not mind seeing more written about special teams going forward in training camp. I have no idea what's going on. Jacksonville, I don't care about anything else in this game. I don't care. They could fumble the ball 5 times. They could do crazy shit. How do special teams go? I will be curious about. I have no vibe about special teams. None.
Well, I mean, if we're doing this like we've been, we did offense 2 years ago. We got defense this season. That means, in the draft in the offseason, we're doing special teams this year after the season. How's that sound?
Jared Watson's 47-yard kick to win the game. Cody Parkey, how you feeling? Exactly.
Coin flip.
Exactly. I'm just gonna say it again.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if the Chase McLaughlin kid is banging them through, then we're good, right?
Oh God.
Right.
I can't fucking believe on this team with so much going on positivity. I had to hit my head on the microphone. I'm telling you, special teams has some work to do in training camp.
Yeah, we know that.
Whether it's kicking, whether it's receiving,
yeah,
it's all a mystery.
I know. Well,
I don't feel good about anything that's going on.
Well, don't watch that part.
I want to. I'm here to win. I'm here to beat Kansas City and fucking Kansas City.
Go to the commercial breaks early.
Are we really going to sit there in Kansas City game go, just catch the ball? Are we going to do that again this year? Just catch it, fair catch. Just fair catch the ball.
I mean, Andy, if you've got this amazingly efficient and well-oiled machine offense, sure, just catch it. We're good.
40 yards and then 41, too far for Parkey, too far. Inside.
No, McLaughlin.
Oh, God.
He's got it.
Oh, boy.
Come on.
This will be talked about on future Mondays. If anybody wants to know, what is Andy going to be? I'm going to be talking about what is going on in special teams. That is a problem.
Yeah. So those are the small concerns we have with the team. Are they still going to win the Super Bowl? Yeah, they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Everything
At the end of the day, they're still going to win the Super Bowl.
Everything's fine.
Mark it.
Everything is fine.
Stamp it.
The Browns are, look, this has been an exciting season. The anticipation we've been waiting for has been great. For the first time, which was good, I finally came down. I was like, okay, here's some things we really do have going on. There's some very good things also developing out of camp. Donovan Peoples-Jones, I knew he was going to play well. I wasn't expecting this much. The Felton thing has been exciting to read. Newsome's having a good camp for rookie. Those are all good things. There's also these, how's Hooper? What's going on with Delpit? McKinley, hopefully he's okay. And special teams. But Jared, I guess what I'm saying is I'm finally back down off of cloud 9. I'm on cloud 4, where it's like I'm excited. I still have confidence, but now I'm starting to see the nature of how this is. There's some things that, okay.
We're always going to have places that we need to improve.
Always need to improve. I got one more random one.
Okay.
How exciting is it to read every day about new problems with the Pittsburgh Steelers? How great is it that Washington's unhappy? Watt doesn't want to play until he gets a new contract. I think it's great, by the way. You know what the greatest thing is, too? Seeing the Hall of Fame speeches and be like, oh, we don't have to go up against Paul Mahon anymore. Oh, we don't have to go up against Bill Cowher anymore. Cowher's nice.
I think what I like most about it is, my favorite part about this is Steelers fans still don't get it. And it's going to hit them like a freight train.
I think
they think I had somebody do it. Somebody did exactly what I said they were doing. I was like, I mentioned to somebody that Steelers fans are delusional. They still think they're going to win the AFC North this year. I was talking to somebody. And somebody came in and said, "Oh, well, if you think that how they look in at the what's that damn game, the Hall of Fame game, blah blah blah, and they could still embed this." I was like, exactly. And thank you for proving my point. Thank you for proving my point. You are delusional. You know why I know you're delusional? Because I spent 20 years watching shit football. I know what shit football is. I know when shit football's coming. And I know when it's going to get thrown right in your face.
And by the way, enjoy this year, because next year is going to be far worse. Far.
Shit. On the way in Pittsburgh. Enjoy it.
It is going to be a spin job of a bad year in 2022. I'm not naive. I could see the Steelers run off some things. Not big time. They could run off a few ones, sure. Absolutely. 2022 is going to be an eruption of awful.
Andy, let's be real about this year.
Awful.
Let's be real about this.
Enjoy.
Remember how? Hey, Browns fans, hey everybody. You remember the years of by week 12, 13, 14, we're on our third string quarterback That's in play this season in Pittsburgh. That is in play.
If I were the
Have fun.
Steelers, I would enjoy this year. And they might, I don't know if they're going to be that good. Because what I see, what I think is Ravens are still very good and dangerous with Lamar Jackson. And I think Joe Burrow is a starter in the making. The Steelers, I have never laughed so hard every day. I'm like, oh, there's another new problem. They are having issues left and right. Oh, Washington, ready to be traded. Watt's not. Oh, folks, this is a train wreck.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. So I just had to bring it up real quick. I also think it's very entertaining that Urban Meyer gets fined only, month into camp. I thought it was very, very well said by Paul Feinbaum. Urban Meyer loves to break the rules. He's right. He's breaking rules. Is anybody excited, Jacksonville Jaguar fan, to see Tim Tebow going out for tight end?
I just don't even want to talk about that whole situation, by the way. I don't understand. I don't.
Jacksonville Browns this Saturday. We'll do more after that game. But everything is still smooth sailing. Excitement. Good to see the full crowd. And there you go. I have no more on the Browns. I'm ready to transition to the Indians. Do you have anything left on the Brownies? Again, Saturday is our first game preseason against Jacksonville.
Yeah, we're going to be watching that at my dad's house, even though he don't like watching football anymore. He's one of those guys. Doesn't watch the football, doesn't watch any of the sports anymore. He's been sticking with it for a good 4 years now, it seems. And my brother and I are going to put the game on anyway. That's what we're doing. Yeah.
Transition quickly, then we'll go to other things. Javius, I hate to cut in. I've been trying to tell everybody with ears for more than a year that Jalen Green is the real deal, and the Cavs should have done anything in the draft to draft him. We'll transition to that, then we'll get to the tribe.
That's fine. Let's get that out of the way.
Okay. Mr. Javius Hurt, I like you. You great energy. Love. You have very good knowledge. You're a good fan.
Yeah.
I think you're wrong. I actually like Evan Mobley a lot. I think Evan Mobley fits very, very well with the Cavs. I think Jalen Green could be a good player. There's nothing wrong with Jalen Green. He might have a great career in Houston. And by the way, there's nothing you can do as a Cleveland Cavalier. He was drafted 2. So all you could do is draft what's left on the board. Everything I've been reading when it comes to, I read a story in The Ringer, reading to other things. For people who are inside basketball, if they said, Kate Cunningham aside, Kate Cunningham is by far number 1. More people had Mobley 2 ahead of Green. Okay, now we'll see what happens, right? And by the way, you can debate it's a shooter's league, it's a scoring league, and Green's got more effect because of that. I do trust the people who keep writing this and saying this is such a great fit, and he's going to be such a great Cav, and he's an all-around player. He does play defense. He plays the big man's game in 2021. Meaning he can shoot. He can be mobile. He is not a back to the basket, have to do a sky hook or make moves. He can do everything. Javius, I hear you, but he wasn't on the board. And I have to say, I'm very, very excited about the Mobley era.
As am I. But do I expect a ton this season? I do not. Right?
Oh, no.
I don't think any Cavs fan needs to. But what I will say is this is kind of like watching some of these guys develop with the Indians right now. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing out of this kid. And I will watch. We'll watch. I have reason and purpose to watch now. As long as they don't keep trying to throw Kevin Love out there on the floor and have that's which by the way, real quick, that whole situation has completely changed as it should have. And it is Kevin Love is basically being told, right? If I'm not mistaken, or at least the way forward with the Cavs is Kevin's place on the team. If he's still there, he's back burner. He's back burner.
There was so that's Mobley. Let's get to Love, and then we'll get to Allen.
Yeah.
And Hartenstein.
Yeah.
Brian Windhurst came out about 2 or 3 weeks ago on KNR, and I thought really laid an honest opinion about Love. He did not play in the Olympics because he didn't look good and couldn't play well enough to even sniff the competition. I thought Jerry Colangelo, who had every right to give a political answer, saying, hey, we're happy for Kevin. Hey, thank you for coming out. he actually basically laid out saying Kevin stunk. Kevin looks old, and Kevin can't play this kind of game anymore.
Yeah.
It is very, very evident to anybody who's watched the Cavs as much as I have last year, and Jared's watched some of it too. Love is past his prime. He should be remembered for the wonderful years of bringing a championship to Cleveland. There's nothing wrong at this point to buying him out. Folks, he is not going to get traded because he's not worth anything. There's no trade value in Kevin Love.
And that is where it is.
There's nothing there.
And
nothing.
And I will go even further to to evidence of that is all you have to do. And I say this in the best. Good for him. He's already decided last season he was transitioning. You could tell if you just followed his social media feed. He is all about his dog. He is all about his fiance, and he is all
Portland,
about his
Oregon.
wine.
In Portland, Oregon.
Yep, and that is where he is mentally in probably a pretty good spot for himself that does not involve basketball. Just doesn't. I don't know whether he's being as honest with himself as he needs to be. It seems like he's on that path, considering how things went down with the Olympics, though. That's where it makes me wonder, is he trying to force something that he knows is over with and just isn't just saying, okay, you know what? I'm good.
Javius, love is dead weight.
Yeah.
I like Javius's next comment. Don't forget modeling. Yes, he is. The buyout term
He's
is
a handsome guy.
He's a handsome man. Mark my words, buddy. There's something missing in Mobley's game, and Cad's game in Detroit was wrong as well. Well,
Javius, we're saving that comment.
Javius, I'm just telling you, I watched Mobley play last year. I politely disagree. I'm not saying Jalen Green's going to stink. That's not my point here. My point is, I think he's going to be good. I'm sorry, I do. I think Cade Cunningham is a star. I thought Oklahoma State, when watching him play, made the players around him better. And Cade Cunningham really stuck out when watching Oklahoma State play. He just stuck out. He looked confident. He looked like a leader. He looked very comfortable in his own skin. Mobley, to me, I know Javius has a comment that some of the other scouts had. Does he have that killer instinct? And maybe that's where Javius is going with his comments. I think Mobley is ready for that next step. I think Mobley is a confident and going to be a good player. I also like this from what I'm reading about the summer league stuff. It's kind of like training camp. I don't get in that stuff as much. But here's the one thing I do read. Okoro and Mobley are hanging out. Okoro played very well at the end of the year with a crappy end of the year. He did play well. I like the Okoro, Mobley, Allen, Sexton, Garland lineup. That's not bad. It's actually pretty good with some potential.
With some potential, but I will say this. Are we looking at a lottery pick again at the end of the season? Way too early predictions. I
think the Cavs actually make the playoffs as like a 9 or 10 seed. I do. I think they make the play-on game. I think the Cavs actually have parts now. Now, they have to stay healthy. The Cavs can – it's like a disease last year. But there were
I think it was less of a disease and more people just didn't even want to be there a lot of times. And by the way, for a team that didn't play a lot the year before because of COVID. So I think there's a lot of rust on that team. Yeah. I just think the Cavs have things in place where they could make the playoffs. It's a bottom feeder seed. Not in the top 6. Like 7, 8, 9, 10. Something to build on, though. Something to give confidence to the young kids. It would be a hell of a thing to watch if they were able to
I just think there's a lot more. I see Jared kind of alluded to it. I don't want to speak for Jared. He wants to watch next year because of Mobley and because these other things growing. And it actually is good to hear because last year, even with the players we brought in, Okoro, by the way, I think Okoro is a good player, but he's not a Mobley. He's not a superstar, but I think he's growing into something. I really do. I like Okoro a lot, but there's excitement about the Cavs. I would advise 2 more things. I thought the Allen contract was very fair. I thought fans were way too harsh about the money in years. If you watch the NBA contracts being signed, Allen's worth it. I thought the Athletic hit it right out of the park. That's a good signing. I mean, I just think the kid plays well. He plays hard, fits well in the city. I really hope they can bring back Hartenstein. I like the way he played last year. There's a position here for this team. This team still needs size with Hartenstein. If you have Hartenstein, Allen, Mobley, I'm not as afraid about the shortness of the Cavs I felt in the past. I'll just leave it there.
No, it's absolutely going to be a different look than it was last season. Last season, it felt like it was a struggle to find identity, to find the right guy to bring the ball up.
Well, Garland needs to be the point. This is for another day.
Right. But this is
Garland's your point guard, Sexton's your shooting guard. Garland's your point guard, Sexton's your shooting guard. I will say that again and again and again and again. Sexton can't bring the ball up.
Something else
doesn't work well.
Something else that I think needs to be hammered out before all is said and done is are we done? I haven't paid attention, Andy. Are we done with all the trade Sexton stuff, or is that still on the table?
I think that's on the table, but here's what I would say about the Sexton. I think the Sexton story is overplayed and he's coming back. Here's a storyline I would watch. If you want a real storyline, is Dylan Windler going to be able to play a full year, and can Dylan Windler really provide a first pick? He was a first round pick talent. Everybody focuses on Sexton is fine. We know what Sexton is. I want to know what Dylan Windler is.
Yeah.
It's a big year for that kid. He needs to play, and he did not look good last year when he played, in my opinion. I thought he did not. He looked like he can shoot, but my gosh, everything else, defensive liability, he's not as big as the other guys. I know there's a lot of people high on Dylan Windler. I hold my breath. I don't know.
Well,
first round pick. He's a first round pick.
I've hit my limit with Cavs talk.
Oh no more.
We're good. We did enough.
All right, one more comment from Mr. Hurd, then we'll move on. Until they trade Sexton and buy out Love, we will continue to run in place. Well, Javius, I will bring some sunshine onto this. I think Sexton should come back. He's got to understand his role, and I like Rubio. I don't love it, but Rubio's a good backup point guard. As for Love, we all agree.
Yeah, nothing else to say. I'm indifferent on Sexton right now, and I absolutely am just
need to bring him back. Needs to have one more year. Let's bring him back and see what happens one more year. Okay, I'll move on to the last topic. That is the Indians. We'll get to Ohio State soon. I need to do a lot more reading. I have not really read into the college football yet. I need to get my Phil Steele magazine, start studying at night. I can't really comment on much. I'm usually ahead on it. I'm very far behind in college football.
Boy, young quarterbacks at Ohio State. Young quarterback.
By the way, your transition. I mean, Alabama new quarterback, Florida new quarterback. Everyone. I mean, Clemson new quarterback. Yeah. So everyone.
We're gonna get some of this stuff rolling in the coming weeks. We'll be ready to. Well, probably next week. I
get asked about on Instagram. I'm like, God, I can't comment. I've got to catch up on the other things first. But Indians, I mean, they're not making the playoffs, right? Right. Okay. So do you want to save that one out? Here's the things to watch for, in my opinion, if you're an Indians fan. What is Bieber going to pitch this year? I do think that's important. Bieber came out and spoke. You can tell he's itching to play. He's had setbacks in this return. I think it's going to be interesting to see if he pitches this year. If I were the Indians, I'd be very hesitant on pitching him. The other big storyline is this new outfield. I like Miles Straw a lot. The kid we got from the Astros, he's very, very good. Yep. Zimmer's had a very nice second half.
And he looks confident.
Yeah, he had a big home run yesterday. Zimmer's playing well. I like Harold Ramirez a lot. Yeah. And remember Oscar Mercado playing nicely. Playing well. Like the outfield's kind of settled down. I think the bigger pieces is what's going to happen with Clement and Owen Miller. What are you going to do with these other guys like Arias who are behind him and Jimenez and Alvin Rosario? Those are big stories.
I like Owen Miller. I think he's going to come around, right? I think I don't know. I've got confidence in Owen Miller right now. That can change.
I think those are the bigger storylines to watch. Funny enough, by the way, Emmanuel Clase should be running for Rookie of the Year. I hope he gets some votes. I don't know if he's going to win it, but I think Emmanuel Clase should really get some consideration of votes. Yeah. The bullpen's fine. I know people like to pick on the bullpen. That's so ridiculous in a year where they end up starting pitching. And that's where I'll end this topic before we get to Francona. I think starting pitching, though, is something. If the Indians really want to compete next year, they're going to have to bring in a starting pitcher. I like Eli Morgan. I've been Cal Quantrill. He can play on my team any day. I love his competitiveness. Yeah. I like his spunk. I'm very, very into it. Tristan McKenzie has grown as he's had some hurdles, but I think he's grown. He's done a nice job. But Jared,
He's
If you're
another one
talking-
long term that I like a lot.
Yep. But if we're talking big time stuff next year, like, hey, buckle up kind of stuff, it is going to be, they're going to need to bring in a veteran starting pitcher. I'm sorry, and that's not going to be cheap. They have to bring in a veteran starting pitcher. And one more for Francona. I know he's coming back from injury. I've been disappointed in Plesac. Even with him coming back to injury, I think he's been disappointing. And I think it's fair to say that. He injured himself because he had a temper tantrum and got himself injured. Whatever the story is, that's what happened here. And Plesac yesterday was another just yawn, bad for giving up 5-run performance. Could barely get through 5 innings.
Plesac is cut from the same cloth as 2 guys that we got out of town. One of whom is in a whole heaping shit pile of trouble at the moment.
How's that Fairmill Reyes Bauer trade looking now?
Perfect.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I mean, it is awful. If you have not seen the Bauer stories, I wouldn't even want to go. I mean, it's just not good. Not good. Not good at all.
If you talk to anybody off the record within the Indians, none of this is surprising about Bauer. None of it.
Exactly. And we could also, I had another one, another sad one. That's again, this is from somebody that is a beloved former Cleveland Indian, but more trouble for Omar Vizquel as well.
Oh, he's in big. Real quickly, because I know he gets brought up enough. With people.
I don't think there's a lot of people that even know some of the trouble he's been in. Because I see folks on Twitter that I know if they knew about it, they wouldn't be.
People, look, Omar Vizquel on the field in the 90s was a wonderful player. It's pretty clear the Omar Vizquel off the field is a very different person. He was not a very good person. And in fact, he has a bad track record with injuring and hurting and assaulting women. Very bad, physical, scary, mental stuff. And now he's getting accused of stuff where he's basically doing the same to men and little boys, possibly too. Now, whether it's pedophilia, not sure, kind of murky, but definitely getting to the point where there is some stuff going on where it's very inappropriate stuff now with men, not just women now men. Omar Vizquel on the field, sure. Off the field, Omar Vizquel is not a good guy.
It is just, I mean, there has been a lot of this. This is just, there's been a lot of this with current and former Indians players and staff this year. I've had enough. That's enough for a lifetime. Can we not have, I mean, obviously you can't control what other people are doing. You can't control the character of people, but my God, there's been a lot of this with with former players and staff that is just, it's been awful. It's been awful if you're a fan and you also care about the type of players that are on your team. Not that they don't make mistakes, but that they have, they want to do better, they want to be better, or whether they're just nasty people. And we've had some nasty people this year that we've had to learn about. It's been pretty bad.
And for people who don't know, this stuff was happening with the Birmingham Barons, which is a minor league organization with the White Sox. So a lot of the stuff's under the White Sox cloth, which is the reason why you may not see it underneath Cleveland Indians headlines, which is fair. I mean, it's a White Sox problem. And by the way, White Sox were mentioned in the lawsuit. But again, it's sad. And again, I think it just needs to be left. I'll leave it right there. The Omar Vizquel, remember, on the field is not the Omar Vizquel we knew off the field. And it's pretty clear he's not a good guy off the field. And Javius, you hit Pandora's box continues to open. And I know, and I'm sure Jared agrees, I don't think that Omar Vizquel story is going to get any better. In fact, it's going to get much worse before it gets better.
No. And in fact, I'm surprised that even going to the Callaway stuff, it's been quieter than I expected.
I think that story was properly exposed, and I thankfully think that story's over. I think.
Yeah, but the Bauer one is just getting started.
Dave Stewart, everybody should Google it. Dave Stewart did something that really turned the tide of that story. He was a part of the 81 celebration for the Dodgers. For people who don't know, Dave Stewart was a great pitcher, more remembered for being in the A's in the late 80s, but he also started off the Dodgers. And he was being brought back along with some of the other Dodgers to celebrate the 81 championship, and he refused to go because of what was going on with Trevor Bauer and the reports. And that story really springboarded, I think, where we are today. So people wonder, well, who got the start? There's always like some sort of like tipping point. The tipping point was Dave Stewart. Dave Stewart really got that going, and it really started the motion of conversation. Transitioning hard. I don't know how to get out of this cleanly. So transitioning hard. I love Terry Francona. Love that guy. Think he's a good person. Loved interviewing him a few weeks ago. I hope Terry's health is good. I hope Terry's feeling better. He means a lot to this city. He means a lot to his organization. I really hope he comes back next year if he's feeling good. But more importantly, I hope Terry's feeling good. He doesn't get talked about enough sometimes, even to me. He is and does and did a lot for the city. And he means a lot. I think it's important he comes back if he's feeling good.
I'm just glad that he made the choice to take care of himself and wasn't trying to force it the rest of the season, because it would just carry into next season. And I believe that he knows that this season, if he is going to do it, as much as he wants to be involved with trying to figure things out on the field and at the plate and on the mound, with the development of what's going forward in the next season, needing him here next season is paramount regarding, I believe, the possible success of this team next year, because I think this team is going to be really good next year. I do.
I think it's an important cog. JVS on Facebook, I think we've come to an end of an era. There's some people who agree with you.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I haven't.
Look,
there's tried to look into it because it feels like. I could ask questions and maybe find out some things, but I don't want to do that because I feel like it's very personal stuff going on. And
I think it's day by day.
And exactly, I think it's fluid.
I think JVS, what I saw a month ago could change to next week. I think what I saw a month ago could change into the end of September. And I know that because we've all had times in our life where we're not feeling great physically and mentally. And I think Terry's going through that. I'm just saying this. I have lived through a lot of things as a sports fan, and it doesn't remind me of this at all, but I'll compare. Bobby Bowden just passed, and Bobby's a legendary in this business. And there are people at Florida State who wanted to push him out because he was old, and they were still winning. But he's old, he wasn't all that. I'm not saying this is the case of Francona. It's not. My point is, Francona is a once-in-a-lifetime guy. I would love for him to come back because he's that great of a person and that great of a manager. I'm telling you. Don't push him aside just because he's sick. If he feels good and he's around, I would keep him as long as you can. That's all I'll say.
That said, what do you think of DeMarlo Hale as acting manager? Did it surprise you that Sandy didn't pick that up, or I don't know.
Indifferent.
Yeah.
Indifferent.
I didn't know what to think of it or whether it mattered at all. I don't know whether it is I don't even think you can make an assumption on whether that would stay next season too. I have no clue.
Indifferent. It doesn't. These interim things don't really mean a lot. Yeah. So, anyways, Terry, feel better. Miss you. Love you. Get back on that scooter soon, pal.
Absolutely.
I'll end on this, and I'm ready to wrap up. But Bobby Bowden, as JVS has said on Facebook, I love college football. And Bobby was a big part of my childhood, even though I was never a Florida State fan.
Mm-hmm.
Those games that he played, Florida State was in every big bowl game. They were always very good. They were in at least 3 or 4 national championship games every year, certainly with Miami, other teams too. And being a Notre Dame fan, they drove me crazy when they won the national championship. Notre Dame should have won the national championship. We won't get to that today. But all that to be said, Bobby was a great person for college football. It sucks and it's sad because I really, it's weird to say, I felt like I knew Bobby and I never met him and never been around him. And I really enjoyed him as a college football character. And I think at times we miss those kind of characters in sports. And that's why I treasure the Terry Franconas, because the Terry Franconas and the Bobby Bowdens, they're unique. They're great about sports. You feel like you know them even though you don't know them. And Bobby is one of those guys. I didn't agree with everything he did. And certainly there were some things that philosophically, I'm not sure if I am in line of, but I know this. Bobby dying is a sad day. And there were some shaky moments of Shoegate U and of course, no doubt. But my gosh, I've been around college football enough to tell you, all that shit goes around a lot of these college campuses. It's a sad day. It's a sad day. But Bobby was fun. And I agree with JV. Florida State Miami in the 90s and late 80s was wonderful theater drama at the highest level. It'll be missed. It's a sad day. Sad day.
I've got nothing to add. Bobby Bowden. 91 years old, man.
91 years old, and he had the greatest line, and they did all those tributes on ESPN. Never got fired. He goes, that was my greatest accomplishment. Never got fired as a head coach. Pretty good. Pretty good.
So you see tonight I'm rocking this red and white hat with a jalapeno and a sombrero on. I got this from a buddy of mine. He's the owner of a restaurant down the street, Senior Jalapenos in Struthers, Ohio, and they sponsor a local baseball team. And this is one of the hats. That's why I'm rocking the jalapeno today. Senior Jalapenos is like just a great restaurant. The owner became very close with my Juan. Shout out to you. Close with my stepfather before he passed away. So had a lot going on with my stepfather between this hat and going to Senior Jalapenos today. And then also my stepfather was a huge Nelly fan. And I know there were a lot of folks from this local area, 4,000 strong, showed up to the amphitheater in downtown Youngstown to watch Nelly. And it was such an eclectic, mix of people in the crowd, all ages, all colors, and everyone with a smile on their face. The show was a lot of fun. And we went as a tribute to my stepfather who passed away. He had a mullet and these sunglasses with flames on them and this little mustache. And he'd be driving down the street blaring in his Chevy Trailblazer, blaring Nelly. And it was just a sight to behold. So, anyways, and the other great thing is that's honestly the most fun that I've had in downtown Youngstown, and I can't tell you how long. They had that. Nice. It was successful. It went off smooth. And on top of that, I couldn't walk 5 feet without seeing somebody that I knew. And then right 2 blocks over was Italian Fest, which went on for the weekend. I mean, it was just a big weekend in downtown Youngstown. And I guess moving back here and knowing that coming back to this beat up Rust Belt town that is struggling to figure out its own identity again outside of wishing that the steel mills would come back, which is obviously never going to happen. We finally I feel like, after a forest fire and you look and you start to see the roots take hold and the little greenery start popping up through the ashes. I feel like that's where Youngstown's at right now in this Northeast Ohio area. So anyways, that's my little plug tonight that I wanted to get out there and get off my chest. So awesome stuff. Andy, any final thoughts this evening?
Zimmer with another home run, 9-2 try. The jalapeno hat's very, very cool. And it's good to hear those kind of stories. Interested to see what special teams is like during the Jacksonville game. That would be my thing to watch. I've gone on and on about the Cavs and Indians. More college football talk to come. Like I said, I thought the Bobby Bowden thing, and it was the weirdest Olympics I can ever remember. Kind of watched a little bit. Oh,
yeah. The Olympics was strange. And it was, you only, obviously, I started watching some of the documentary Golden. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's about a lot of the female gymnasts and their stories and how.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
It's good. There's a lot going on there good and bad, and just what they do, what they put their bodies through to become. Like, it's so funny that I'll sit there, you sit there, fat old middle-aged guy watching TV with popcorn and chips and a soda or whatever, while a beer, watching and complaining. Oh, you wobbled. How'd you almost fall off of that? Well, are you kidding me? Could you imagine standing up on one of those beams and trying to do a flip? How about just trying to walk across it?
Jared, I spill coffee in my shirt every day, so no, I can't.
Yeah.
Jared,
it's
I get
crazy what humans can even do. Like,
Jared, I get remarked upon constantly by my girlfriend. I can't eat, so no, I can't.
Anyway, yeah, Olympics.
Golden.
Weird, no people. Golden is the documentary.
One, I gotta watch that. One random one. Your Honor is wonderful on Showtime. Wonderful. Your Honor, Bryan Cranston's wonderful. Really? Very, very, very good.
You might have to look into that too then.
It's my nighttime watching when I'm trying to decompress from work.
I'm addicted to Ted Lasso.
I need to watch that. I watched We Are Millers again the other day. I love that movie.
Ted Lasso is incredible. It is the best show on television, in my opinion. And it does not surprise me because the creator, Bill Lawrence, was the creator of Scrubs, and Scrubs was my all-time favorite television show.
Oh, my brother liked that show a lot. I thought Scrubs was good.
Scrubs was great.
I gotta watch Ted Lasso.
Hey, shoot us an email, andyandjared@gmail.com, JARID.
Haven't checked it in months, but we'd love to check it again.
Nah, I get notifications if we get an email, and we haven't.
Oh, that a boy. I was gonna say I haven't checked that.
I say it just in case someone wants to shoot us an email, but they usually
check us out.
Follow us on clevelandandbeyond.net, where all the podcasts are available. You can also find podcasts other places where podcasts are available, like on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and all that stuff. Follow us on Twitter at CLE and Beyond, at CLE and Beyond, and on Facebook, facebook.com/Cleveland and Beyond. Yeah. Javius Hurd says, now that's a fire hat, pun intended. Thanks, Javius. It's my house.
Javius, thank you. Well, I'll be on Instagram later. I got to go get some dinner before I pass out.
Yeah, I got to eat dinner too. So,
I'd like to say my apologies. I've been so busy this summer. We are back on Mondays. Holly and I had a big talk too. We're going to be back on Wednesdays with Set the Edge. We'll be back doing, I know people have been asking. I'm sure Jared and I will be back on during post-game game Browns. I know I'll be there.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get ramped up. We keep saying this. I am getting ramped back up. My goal is every morning just to get up at 5 a.m., which I do now, and read the Cleveland Plain Dealer to stay alive and to get back in it. And I'm so excited about college football. Cannot wait to get back into it. But thank you, fans, for sticking around. It's been a busy summer. One guy moving into a house, one guy's career exploding. So it's been a very busy summer. We apologize. We're getting back into Mondays. And Friday soon once we get in the fall.
Just a reminder, we're brought to you by Waiting for Next Year. Check them out, original Cleveland sports reporting at waitingfornextyear.com. And also, we are proud to be a part of Evergreen Podcasts. Andy, take care, brother. Hello, everybody. Bye, everybody. Talk again
Bye
soon.
next Monday. What to watch? Special teams. Can you imagine? That's what I'm watching. Special teams. How do special teams look? How do special teams look? And then for individual players, I obviously will be watching Greedy Williams, Hooper. Those are some of the guys I'll keep my eyes on.
And don't forget it's a Saturday game, right? Saturday game.
Saturday game against old Urban Meyer. Team Tebow getting to Ben Gay, getting ready for a big day. Yeah, God, can you imagine being a Jaguars fan? Woo! Tim Tebow reps.
I have a friend who's a Jaguars fan. I feel terrible for him.
Trevor Lawrence is exciting.
Sure. Urban Meyer is not exciting.
I love the comment by Paul Feinbaum. He's only been in the league for so many months. He's already getting fined. I mean, heavily fined for abusing, putting out the player too much during OTAs. It's unbelievable.
Okay. Go Browns. Talk again soon. Take care. Going to eat dinner. Love you. Bye. Bye. See you later. Bye.
Javius, thank you. Javius, it's going to be okay with Evan Mobley. It's going to be okay.
All right. I'm hanging up. Bye.
It's going to be okay, Javius. Longest delay ever.
Yeah, what's going on here?
We'll just keep going.
End the broadcast. I'm ending it. End it. Let's go.
There you go, Javius.
Why is it still going? I hit end. Can you end it?
I'm going to help you out.
Having trouble connecting. What? Connecting?